How you guys doing? It's Mr. Finance coming in. And I know you guys are probably confused by the topic that was chosen, because that's what someone told me almost 4 years ago. Almost 4 years ago, I heard those exact things. Someone told me, don't join, don't leave your good job. They told me it's going to be a scam. They told me it's going to be a pyramid scheme. They told me that the opportunity wasn't real. So I wanted to come by and share with you just a quick story about how I got started. What were some of the things I faced? What are some of the things I had to overcome? And you see, how I started in WFG wasn't even an opportunity for me. It wasn't even an opportunity that it was really for me. It was more of me checking it out for someone else and hoping it was something legit for them. And they said, hey, you got some business background, come check it out. And it was a phone call that I was going to literally hang up on. I wasn't going to take the call because as I was getting the phone call, I was getting ready to go to bed because I had to go to work at 3:45 in the morning. And I saw the phone call. I even spoke to my cousin at the time for over like a couple years, like about a year or two or more. And I saw the phone call and I picked it up and I was like, wow, why is he calling? I picked it up. He told me, hey, I'm looking to get started with something, but I need your background to come check it out and make sure it's legit. I know you have business background and you could definitely help me out. And I said, sure. I've always been the guy that even though I had to work that Wednesday, I had to go to work. But I'm always that guy that will, if you need my help, I'll be there. I will be there. If you need me to come support, if you need me to help you, I would be there. I always been that guy. So I made sure I called out of work that Wednesday. And I went down there with him, very skeptical. And I was just sitting there, I did Amway when I was 19 years old. And I did okay with Amway. And as soon as I saw the setting, I was like, oh God. I hope it's not Amway. And things got kind of serious when I sat down. I remember when I first got started, the guy that was giving the presentation, they said, if anybody's here that wants to make $1 million, you should get in the front seat. And I remember I was fighting. I literally jumped over chairs to get to the front seat because I don't know what it was, but I was definitely so I remember I fought to get over the front chair. And the guy that was giving the presentation, just so you know, he was an ex-police officer. He left his police job and he was giving the presentation and he was telling us about how he struggled with a 6-figure income being an ex-detective. And he told me how he was struggling being a police officer, how he used to order the 5 for 5 special at Domino's. And at the time, I was struggling too. I was struggling because at the time before WFG, I've just lost my apartment because I couldn't keep up with my rent anymore. I couldn't keep up with my rent. I'd lost my apartment. I rented a room from my aunt. I moved in with my aunt's house and I was literally there paying rent for the room. I was married at the time, and me and my wife at the time was expecting a baby, my second son. And I was sitting there trying to figure it out, man. And as he was talking, it's almost like I was relating so much to him because I was struggling. And I remember at the very end, he reminded me that it wasn't no join me business. I had to qualify. And I really went back home that night. And at the time, you know, me and my wife at the time was not in the best situation. So we used to argue about money all the time, and we used to argue about how our life was. And I remember going home and I was excited, man. I woke her up and I was like, yo, we're rich, right? I was like, we're rich. And she was like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, I found it. I found that thing. I found what I need to do. And she's like, oh my God, what do you want to go see now? And I was like, no, you don't get it. We're rich. And she was like, all right, we'll talk about it in the morning. The whole time I was laying in the bed, I kept envisioning how it's going to be like 10 years from now. And I was thinking about like, wow, I found it. Or better yet, it found me. And man, I was just really, really passionate about the life that is going to change. And see, the life that I was living before WFG, it wasn't the right life. And it was really, I must tell you, it was the grace of God why things didn't happen how it happened, and it happened for the best. Because as I pursue this opportunity, it was something that moved me. It was something that showed me that I could have become the best me. Because at the time, I was a boy trying to be a man. And WFG showed me how I could become a man, not only to my kids, but also to society, and not be a menace to society, but be a contributor to society. And I saw that. I saw that within the opportunity that was on the table. Now, what is it that intrigued me about WFG the most? It was really the opportunity of change. It wasn't so much the money. The money, I saw the money. I understand I could make a lot of money here. But it was the opportunity of change, because I went from wearing baggy clothes, being in the streets, hanging out with a few of my homies, being around the wrong circles. And not that I'm saying that I regret doing that, but at that time I felt like that was the only thing I knew that I was good at doing. And WFG showed me that I could have become more. I could have been better. I could have aimed to be the best me. And it showed me about, you know, dressing up in suits, you know, doing something important, being a role model, you know, the right type of role model, because the old me was influencing the kids to always be doing good, but I wouldn't be doing good. So I wasn't practicing what I was preaching. And WFG gave me that life that I could have become that. So now, as I decided that I was going to join, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of people don't even know that I went through most of this, but I'm going to share this with you because I want to show you how many obstacles I went through for where I am today. Now, as I was going to get started, I had to sacrifice. I had my insurance money that I had to pay for my car, right, to get started. And this business opportunity, and that's why I tell people this is a business opportunity. It's not a job. It's an opportunity to really get control. And before I could have got started, I had my car insurance money. No one didn't tell me I had to do this. This was a decision that I made because I seen the future results before I had them. So I understand that in business, you got to make sacrifices. And the bigger the sacrifices is, the bigger the outcome will be. And as I went there, it was my $100 to get started. And I went through the qualifying stage, and I was 5 minutes late, and I almost missed my opportunity by this much, because I mean, you know, they run a very strict business. And if you weren't someone serious, they did not want to work with you. And because I was 5 minutes late, I was almost about to lose that opportunity. Trust me, I've seen people got turned away as I grew up in this business for not being on time or coachable or these things. And it was literally in my presentation, in my interview, that he asked me a question. He's like, why should I bring you aboard? Why should I mentor you? And I looked at him and I said all the right things. I said all the corporate things because I could bring more money to the business. I could definitely grow the business, all these things. And he looked at me and said, you're not what I'm looking for. He said, but I'll give you a chance again for you to really tell me why I should mentor you and bring you in this business. And I looked at him and I said, man, I remember I was so broke, man. I told him that I was broke. I told him I was not happy with who I was. I told him I wasn't the greatest person. But I told him if you just gave me a chance, because that's what a lot of people never gave me in life. I never got a lot of chance. I never got a lot of opportunity to really prove that I could be a better me. And I said, if you give me a chance to prove that I could be the best me, you will never regret it. And I remember walking out that room feeling like I found it. And here it is. It's in the opportunity. It's in someone's hands and decision making. And I sat there for like 20-30 minutes waiting as they really discussed this. If I was worth to mentor. And I was young, and that's one of the biggest things that they were afraid of. They were afraid that I was just young. I wasn't going to listen. They were afraid that I wouldn't follow the system. They were afraid that I would just waste their time. And they were running a very successful business. And I looked there and I said, man, I hope I get the opportunity. I later found out that it was a good friend of mine, a dear friend of mine now today, that actually spoke up in that meeting and said, that guy is going to be big here. Give him a chance. He's young. He might be a little rough on the edges, but give him a chance. I feel as if that person did not speak up, I probably would have never got started that day. And forever grateful I am that he did. When I joined WFG, I didn't have any supporters. I didn't have anybody that supported me like that. You know, even my wife at the time didn't support me. I remember when I went to my mom, even my sister, they laughed at me. Her and her husband laughed. Told me I was a big joke. Told me that I was working for a company that was a scam. Told me how much that they're just going to take my money and how I wouldn't become, you know, it was a waste of time. You know, I remember my mom telling me, don't you leave your 3 jobs, Keon. You have a good jobs. Don't follow that stuff. Leave that thing alone. And I remember I was going through all of this. I remember I called my mentor at the time and I was telling him all the things I was hearing. And I remember he said to me something that was very powerful to me. He said, do they live the life that you desire? Do they have the lifestyle that you desire? And I remember looking at him and I said no, because at the time my mom was working 2 jobs and she didn't drive. She used to walk to work, and my mom struggled. My mom struggled in America to get to where she is. And I've watched this, you know. My sister didn't live the life I wanted. Neither did her husband. They didn't have things that I wanted. I wanted a lot more. You know, I had very high tastes in the things that I wanted for me and my family. So I never got the big support. I called all my friends. I tell them, hey, just come down and check it out. No, most of them didn't. Some did. And if they did, they just showed up just to say that they showed up. To this day, I have many friends that never, ever became clients, never did anything. And I'm not mad. It's their decision. I feel good that I told them about it. I told them what I did. And I showed them how I could have helped them. But most of them didn't listen. Right? So I never had supporters. I found it, it's ironic now that I look at things and I think about it a lot now. And I said, wow, it's crazy how far I've came without no support. It's crazy how far I've gone in this company, how many years in this company without all them not supporting me, and I still made it. I still was able to make great income here. Many of you guys seen I post that up on my social media platforms. And I make great income. I support my kids, I support my family. Right? And I did that without most of my intermediate people supporting me. But later on, fast forward 3 years later, I have my cousin join me in business. I have my aunts became my clients. I have a few cousins that became clients. You know, it's just really great now looking at it that they didn't join me or supported me in the beginning because they didn't know what I was going to do. But over time, my credibility, my consistency in this company, proven to them that I was very serious about the opportunity. I was very serious about this change that was going to happen in my life. And because of that, they gave me the opportunity to show that. And my knowledge that I learned here did that. So why I joined WFG? I joined WFG because I wanted a change. I wanted a change so bad. I wanted a new life. I wanted a new beginning. I wanted a new opportunity. I wanted a new way in order to get better. You know, before WFG, I worked 3 jobs. My day started at 3:45 in the morning and ended at 11:30 at night. And that was the scary thing about it. I used to work at UPS in the early mornings. Anybody that work at UPS, you know it's not no easy job. Then after UPS, I would then go to work at AMP. And I used to work in the dairy department. I used to work in the back room, or I used to stock the shelves. Then from there, I will go work at a restaurant in Opakon till 11:30 at night. By the time I get home and unwind, I'm at sleep around 12:30 to then get back up for 3:45 to get up at 3 o'clock to go to work. And that was the thing that I did. So when and why I quit my job, I quit my job after, a matter of fact, I had to quit my job because at the time I got in a car accident where we got hit by an 18-wheeler as I was driving. And in this car accident, my lower disc was crushed. So that's why I was not able to go back to work, because of that, it makes it hard for me to lift anything over 50 pounds. It became very difficult for me to stand long or walk around too long, and then my back will seize up, even to this day. And it was crazy. It was almost like I was forced into becoming full-time here. And it was either do or die. It was either I'm going to do or I'm going to die and suffer. And I looked at my son, because I had custody of my oldest son, and I looked at him as like, I can't fail. I can't fail because I have to support him. You know, at the time, it was either me or nobody. And I had to win for him. And WFG gave me the opportunity to do that. So what have WFG done for me? It gave me freedom. Freedom, stability, and security. That's what WFG have given to me. And if you want to change in your life, WFG can give you all of the above. But you have to make a decision if you want it. My name is Keon Corniff. Most people call me Mr. Finance. I just want to tell you that you're one decision away from changing your future. Have a blessed day.